Hello everyone, welcome to Card Design Thursday. So today we're going to make a stacked card, and it's a card that I've been wanting to do a very long time. It was inspired by May May, and I saw her do this card maybe a year or 2 years ago or whatever, and I have just always wanted to try it. So today we're going to be doing it, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the cards that I've done. It is going to be a 5x7 card, and it was originally inspired by, I had received some card bases from Donna Clark and James, and they're not quite an A2 size card. They're kind of in between a 5x7. So I think there are just about 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. But this is the first card that I made, and it just really came out cute. But then I was bouncing off ideas of Gareth, and we thought it needed some color behind it. So then I came up with this card, and it really is stacked. You can see the layers in there. And so it's not a hard card to do, but it does have a lot of measurement. And I don't want to make this video so long, but I am going to go through the process of cutting the paper with you and showing you how I put it together. And then I'll speed through some of the things that, you already know how to do. So let's just get started. Okay, we are starting with a piece of paper that is 8.5 by 10 inches. So I went ahead and cut the paper down to, I started with an 8.5 by 11. I cut an inch off of it to make it 10. So that when we fold it over, we're going to get our 5. And then we're going to turn it this way and cut it down to 7. And then I'm just going to fold this. I probably rarely use my scoreboard anymore to fold cards unless I am doing a really thick cardstock. This is just your average 65 pound weight cardstock. But this card is going to be mega sturdy when we're done. Okay, so now we're going to do the layers for it, and this is what requires measurement. And I worked and worked and worked until I got the perfect measurement for this. So our first mat, I'm using blue, and our first mat is going to be 4 7/8. Let's see if this is long enough for me to do. Yeah, 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. So I'm just going to put it in here, and 7/8 is the 8th mark that's right. Let's see if I can move this. The 8th mark that is the next to the last mark on your cutter. Okay, so we're going to cut that. Whoops, let's do it 4 7/8. We'll do that one first. Okay, and then we're going to do 6 7/8. So it's not really hard. Basically we are going about, for the mats, we're going an 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch difference. So that is the first mat, and that goes on here, but we're going to glue this down to the white mat. So then the next white mat we have is going to be cut at 4 13/16 by 6 13/16. Now I know that's a weird number for you, but basically we did 7/8, right? And all that 13th is that 1/16 of an inch backed up from 7/8. So that's all that is right there. Okay? And I'm going to need a bigger piece of paper. So all we're going to do is we're going to do 4 13/16, which just means if you need to, go to 7/8 and then back up a 1/16 of an inch. And that's going to be 4 13/16. Okay? Then we're going to turn and do the same thing. You can put your mark on 4 7/8 and then just move it back 1/16 of an inch. And that will give you a proper measurement. And then this fits right inside of here. and it's just a tiny little border, but it's all you need to see just that little hint of blue, which is going to make this card pop. So you're going to put those together and lay that aside. Then the next base you're going to be cutting is 4 1/4, and we're going back to the blue. So we're going to do 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So we're just going to go 4 1/4 here by 6 1/4. And the reason I back these up some is because you want to have room, so when you stamp your image, you have room to stack it up like this, so that you can get your image in all 3 layers. And I did try this on a A2 size card, and it just does not work the same, so I just gave up that one. Okay, so then this piece, the next white piece, let's see if I can use that scrap I had. The next white piece is going to be a 1/16 of an inch shorter than this, and it's going to be 4 3/16 by 6 3/16. So, if you need help with that, 3/16 is just 1, 2, 3, the third line in on 4. So you're just going to put it right there. And then by 6 3/16. And if you have a hard time measuring the 16ths, just go to the hole one, like 4 1/4, and back up is 1/16 of an inch. And that will give you the proper measurement. And this fits inside of this one. And like I said, it's just a small little border there. Okay, and then our last piece is going to be, I don't know if this is big enough. Yes. 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. Okay, so it's going to do 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then you're going to do your white piece. I had a little scrap. Okay, so we're going to do 3 1/2. No, excuse me. We're going to do 3 7/16. Okay, so 3 here. There's 3 1/2 right there. And then we're going to back it up 1 notch. And that is 3 7/16. Okay, and then we're going to do by 5 7/16. So you can go to your 5 1/2, back it up 1/16 of an inch, and that is 5 7/17 inch. Okay, and then it just fits in your card like this. And you're just going to see like the little hint of blue around the edges of it. So we are done with our cutting. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to glue these pieces together. Before we do any stamping, we're going to make sure that these are together. And I'm just using my art glitter glue to glue them. And I'm just kind of eyeballing these. I do just want to make sure it's a tiny little bit of blue tucked at the edges. Okay, just so that you can see it. Okay, this is our last piece. You don't want to do that. The one good thing about using liquid glue versus tape is that you have just a wee bit of wiggle room on here. Okay, so those are our 3 pieces. Okay, so next we're going to be stamping our images. And the stamp that I'm using several. I'm using this one right here, the little angel collection. It's called Christmas Angel Collection. And this came from Created Home with G. And then I'm going to be using the snowflakes from this one that's no doubt about it from May. And then I'm going to be using the sentiment Peace on Earth and Merry Christmas from this stamp set here. And it doesn't really have a name, but this is also from Created Home with G. So I'm mixing a little bit of my stamp sets together, which is great. It's a great way to create a whole new card without having to go, buy something specific. Now to do this, I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to tear some washi. This is my Dollar Tree washi. And I'm just rolling it around. I'm going to roll my hand on some of the sticky, well, maybe. There we go. Then roll it in my hand so it, takes some of the sticky off of it. And then I'm just going to stick it on the back of this. And I'm going to line this up in the middle. Now it is kind of important that you try to get these lined up as best as you can, because when you stamp it, you want your image to be lined up. Like I said, it's not a hard card really per se. You just have to, watch what you're doing. Okay? And if it's not perfect, it's okay, because trust me, my samples are not perfect. And I'm just going to do the same thing here with the washi tape. Now, we're going to stamp this. I'm going to put my angel images on here. I am going to be using a stamp positioner with this one. But I will say, I did not use a stamp positioner with this one or this one. I definitely I stamped these by hand. But in interest of time, and because I want to make sure that this video is not 10 hours long, I am going to use my stamp positioner. Pick this up. Okay, so I'm just going to put this off to the side somewhere. And line it up in the corner. And then I'm going to be using the little girl angel. And I'm going to lay her down right here where I want her. So she's going to come across all 3 layers. And then I'm going to use the little boy on this side. And he's going to come across all 3 layers. Okay? And then while I'm on here, I also I'm taking the little Peace on Earth sign, and I am going to place it. Hopefully it'll pick it up on this one. I may have to stamp this by hand. Peace on Earth right here on this little white part. Actually, these are going to go this way. Okay? And then I'm going to put Peace on Earth in the middle right here. Maybe there. I may have to stamp this out by hand because I don't think the stamp positioner is going to pick it up. And then we're just going to press down. And we're going to get our ink. And I'm just using my black, Tuxedo Black Memento ink. I found when I did my second card that because I added the blue behind it, the layers were a little bit thicker, and I thought maybe I could line it up better using the stamp positioner. But please note, by all means, you do not have to have one. Okay? Just going to push down on these really hard. And actually, they came out perfect. Okay, so then I'm going to take a baby wipe and just wipe these off gently first, because I want to reposition them on the bottom. And I don't want ink all over them while I'm trying to reposition them. Okay, so I'm going to lay her down about right. There, I think I'll leave her this way on the inside this time. Okay, and then I'm going to reposition him about right there. Okay, close it back up, pick them up, and then ink. Let's see if we have to ink again on this one. Yeah, maybe a little bit on this side. That's what's nice about a stamp positioner. It doesn't matter what kind you have either. They're just really nice in case you need to restamp, and you don't have to worry about messing up your images. Now, it's really important that you let this dry before you start messing with it, because you don't want to get those ink smeared. Okay. And I am going to just stamp the rest by hand because I don't think this is going to fit on there, and with this being so thick. And I'll move those angels in a minute. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is to color these. And I'm just going to use my coloring pencils. And when you color these, the best way to do is to color it with it all still stuck down with the washi tape. And when you need to get up under it, you just lift this up and just color the images. That way, your images will be colored in the perfect way. And I'm just going to use just a couple of pencils. I'm just doing very simple on here. I'm not doing anything really fancy. Where's my yellow one? I'm just taking some yellow, some brown, some grays. I had a brown. What happened to it? Just to color the hair, different colors or whatever. So I'm not really doing anything fancy on here. Grab me a brown out of here. Okay, there we go. So I'm just mixing the hair tones and the skin tones. Let's see. I think I'll do a little redhead. And I'll show you how I'll do that. But my angels are very simple, so I'm just going to color here. So I'll just start here. I'll show you how I'll do one, and then I'm going to pause the video so it's not that, it doesn't take so long. I don't want this to be 2 hours long. I'm just going to lift this up. If you can see, I'm lifting this up like this, and then I'm just going to color her hair. Just follow the line. And then I'll lift this up and just get that little peak right there. And then I'm going to color the inside of the halo yellow. Okay, and that's all I do for each card. So I'm going to go ahead and color these, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I am finished coloring it, and that's what we have. And I just think that looks really, really cute. So the next step that I did was I took my little snowflake things and I stamped it. So very carefully I'm going to take this apart now. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if it rips a little bit, you're okay. It's not going to be seen. But that came off really good. Now what I'm doing is, I know this is looking impossible, but it's really not, I promise you. What I'm doing is I'm going around and doing the snowflakes all around the border. You don't have to do the whole card because, before I do that, you don't have to do the whole card because the whole card is not going to be seen. I just wanted to do that off of there for a minute. I am going to put this piece on earth back on here for a second. And I am going to put this on top. Line this up. See, you just lined them up. That's all. And then I'm going to put where I want my piece on earth. Right there. In between the two angels. Making sure I got plenty of ink. So I'm only going to get one shot on this one. Okay, there we go. Wipe this off. And since you're working with a predominantly white card, it's important to keep your hands ink free. Now we're going to stick our snow flags back on. Alright, and so all we're doing is we're just inking around the edges and the places that don't, that doesn't have any part of the angel on it. And I need a scrap paper. Where's my scrap paper? Any scrap will do. Just to stick under here so that I don't get ink on my thing. And pretty much I'm just going around the edges of it. And you're going to do this all the way around the card on both this piece and the second piece. You're going to do on the top piece, you're going to do the entire card. So I'll just show you a little bit more what I'm doing here. And I'm just looking for spots that are open. See? And I'm just going around the edges. I don't have to do the whole card on this one, because you're not going to see. And I love this stamp set, particularly because it's easy to maneuver around. Okay, so that's our first mat. And then we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to do our second one. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this done, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have all of them inked now. Now, I forgot to tell y'all what color I used. I was using Memento Teal Zeal. So this next part, it is really important that you line these up pretty darn perfect. So it's really easy to do. You just line up the edges of them. And because I'm using double-sided tape on these like sticky puff dots or whatever, you really kind of only get one chance normally, but I put a little glue on mine just in case I need to go through here. So I'm just going to lay out some glue dots here. Where'd that one go? Oh no. There it is. And then when I get all the glue dots laid out where I want them, I'll come back and show you what I do. Okay, I'm going to show you on this one. Here's the first layer. And basically all I did was I put the glue dots on there, and then I just went and put just a tiny bit of art glitter glue on there. And that's going to give me a little bit of wiggle room. So the one I usually try to do is try to match the top first. And we're going to line it up with the lines. And then match the little bottom up. Oops. But see, you have some wiggle room by putting your art glitter glue on here. Okay, perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this layer. Okay, so I have my foam dots and the art glitter glue on here. And I'm sorry if I get my head in the way, but I have to be able to lean over here and look really carefully. Okay. That looks good for her. And for him. Okay. Make sure the bottom is lined up. So there we have the bases of our card. And then I'm going to use this little button angel. I also got this from last year from Created Home with G. And I've been trying to use my stash and stuff. So I'm just using a little art glitter glue on the button. And it dries really fast. And I'm just going to find that middle glue dot. And that's where I'm going to put her down at. So that is all the layers and stuff for the card. And then we're just going to glue it down on our base. Like I said, it is a very sturdy card. But it also makes a nice decoration as well. Because it is so big and it does stand up. It makes a very nice decoration. So I'm just eyeballing this. Oops, I could do a little bit better than that at the top. Let's slide. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to take my hands and go around the edges of it, around here, and then I'll stamp Merry Christmas in the middle of it when I get ready to send it. But isn't that pretty? And like I said, it stands up, and it makes a nice little decoration on its own when it's standing up. So I really hope you will try this card. It's not hard to do. It just requires a little bit of measuring, but I think they're really sweet. So please give me a thumbs up if you like this, and make sure that you're subscribed to my channel, especially if you haven't done that already. Alright guys, I will see you all again soon, and have a wonderful day. Bye!